We all right? Are we all good? We all cooking on gas? Good. Right, so this is just a little stream this afternoon, and then we'll be picking things up again a little bit later on this evening. So for this stream, we're going to do a high-speed run on Great Western. We're going to revisit the Great Western Blue, and just have a little look and see what's been fixed with the patch. And then we're probably going to head off to Germany for a run. So yeah, we got a little bit planned. So without further ado, we need to go to platform number 11 at Reading. So this one. And I believe it's for this train. Would have been really helpful if the passenger information systems were working, because that will now tell me where this one's going, because I'm not sure if this is going out of Reading or into Reading. So I'm going to have to sit in the seat and find out. Ah, yeah, this is the one I wanted. Excellent. Right, so let's start by setting up our train. So let's get our master key in. Put it on neutral. Want our DRA on because we are sat at a red. Then we're going to turn on our safety systems. We've put our headlights on. It's a horrible, miserable day, so we are going to turn on the lights in saloon to bright, and then going to get the old wipers on. Oops, put them on there. Really hammering it down today. Right, okay, our gauges are nice and lit up, so you can see what's going on. Let's get the doors open on the right hand side. Yep, I think we are now good to go. I saw that, Willow. I saw your comment the other day that they'd put the freight back in. And I'm keen to see how it's been implemented. Sorry folks, just got the window open and the wind's just picked up, so it's just blown the door open, so I've just had to stick the old pineapple door stop in the way to stop it from blowing open still. So have we got okay levels for the game sounds? Because I have had some issues again trying to keep Anne working. She's decided that she's going to have a hissy fit, but there is no Anne because there is no Ollie, because I can't do both at once during a stream. So excellent, thank you for that, Willow. Right, so we're doing this service. Unfortunately I can't remember what service number we are doing. I believe it's 1 Lima 34. Right, so we're good to go. So let's cancel our DRA. Notch 2 at power. As the brakes now just ease themselves off. And we should start moving any moment now, he says. There we go. And we're away. First train of the day. Happy days. So Willow, as you've clearly obviously played Great Western Blue since they've added the freight in, is there a lot of freight or is it just a little bit? Or is it layered depending on what locos you've got? long HST today. Right, so we are good for 40 miles an hour over this junction, and then the 60 starts just over the end. So we'll get our foot down. Go to the rear of the train until we've just the 60 ball. There we go, 125 there. So there we go. It's all gone dark. Ah, right, okay. Well, we'll have a little look at that when I go through it shortly. Oh, so it's all kicking off in the Formula One as well, so I'm trying to keep my eyes on everything. We've got the AWS 4. So on a diverging route, we've not got a speed decrease. Strange. Must be a right side failure. Right, so 33 miles we've got to go. We are literally just driving by the HUD. Oh, not by the HUD, by the instruments. Again, the speed limits will pop up, but it's only there as a guide. Trying to drive as much as we can by just as a real driver would, using track sort of features, landmarks, etc., aka route knowledge. Ourselves up to a 85 mile an hour. We're just going to throttle off, and we're just going to put the brakes in initial just to check that everything's working. So we're just going to do our running brake test. I'll wipe 10 mile an hour off the speed, so when the speed gets to 75, yep, there we go, we've released the brake. We'll let it roll for a minute while the brakes release fully off of the train. Right, there we go, and now we'll just gently apply some more power again. Watch the amps build up. We don't want to create a flashover. And there we go. Full throttle again. And away we go. And there we go. We're now good to go all the way up to Paddington. What a pick of a day though. One thing I did notice with when you've got the Great Western Blue installed, is that you don't get the longer HSTs anymore if you do the workaround. So if you go into journey mode, load it up, quit out, and then go into timetable, you used to get the longer HSTs. Well, now you don't. If you uninstall GWB, Great Western Blue, they come back again, which is annoying. So I think you have to decide which way you want to do it. Whether you want to have GW Blue installed all the time, or whether you want to install it when you play it. It's only a tiny download. But that's one thing I did notice, which is quite annoying. Because Dovetail can clearly give us the PC timetable on console, but they don't want to. Yeah, but if you uninstall Great Western Blue, you get 9-car HSTs on any format. As soon as you install it, it removes the ability to do it, which is weird, considering it's still technically the same install. But yeah, we're supposed to be getting the PC version with the update. When they update or do the memory optimizations, we're supposed to be getting the PC timetable on console, which will be nice, because then you get the Greenford Loop services. So you go Paddington, Acton Main Line, and that one down. Crikey, this rain is, I've set this rain a little bit high. Didn't mean to set it this high, but cloud level's low, so it's a little bit foggy as well. So we're approaching 120 now. Alright, Cliffy, good evening, or afternoon. Getting ahead of myself there. Welcome to the stream. Join us on your stomping ground. Little cheeky afternoon stream before we go back live at about 8-9 o'clock this evening, as it's a late one for me tonight, guys and girls, because I'm on nights next week, so we'll be staying up as late as we possibly can tonight to prepare ourselves for a full night shift tomorrow. Alright, so that's us about near enough 125. Yeah, well, we were all time travellers while we were sleeping this morning, as the clocks went forward an hour. It went from 00:59 to 2 AM. Right, so we'll just start the coasting process now. Well, not coasting, but notch 2. Did I turn off motion blur? No, I didn't. What an update. Now we have to turn it off, because that's annoying. I don't know, it's supposed to, but it resets every game every game session. I have raised it with Dovetail that it needs to be, if you set it off, it stays off. But they're like, well, it's not how we want it, and I was like, well, it's not your choice, is it? It's a user input request. If I want to turn it off, I want it left off, because it does make a hell of a difference to the way the game runs and the way the game feels. I just think it personally feels better with it off. But it's each to their own. Go back to full throttle for the slight rise now for a little while. Might as well start to slow down. Again, Willow, don't rule anything out. The reason that the routes are the way they are at the moment is due to the memory optimization. Anything longer and it'd cripple the base consoles. So once we start to see Train Sim World develop for the next gen, you'll probably start to see route extensions, and I think they will be coming from third parties. They won't be coming from Dovetail. I think that's what they're going to be going for with Rivet and Skyhook, in that they will be employed to extend, modernise and redo routes. If they've got any sense, that's what they'll get them to do. But again, that's only my opinion. That's not, I don't know anything on the inside or anything like that, but you've got two really good development studios, Rivet and Skyhook Games, that are developing for Train Sim World 2. or for Train Sim World, it would make sense to get them doing route extensions, route rebuilds, modernisation, time scaling something, so making something they've done old, giving them the tools to focus on that. You're going to start to see Armstrong Powerhouse starting to do stuff for Train Sim World as well. I think the owners or Richard Armstrong was saying on that he's working on actually building locos with teams from the ground up, with all of their sounds and everything, on a recent stream with Alan Thompson Simulation, or the ATS folks. So you're going to start to see a lot for Train Sim World moving forward, now that I think that they've established that it's going to be the way that it goes. It's just, when do you start to retire Train Sim World or Train Sim Classic and start to move the development team from that and fold them into the Train Sim World development team? Because I think you've stretched that Train Sim engine as far as you can possibly stretch it now. Right, we've throttled off. Well, we've throttled back. We're in notch 2 now. Rapidly approaching Paddington. So in notch 3, that should keep us at a steady 122, 23 mile an hour. Don't get me wrong, I do love Train Sim Classic, but I think it has reached the end of its life. Exactly, Willow, exactly. And I think that's what they're aiming for. But I've said it in the past, and I've had the discussion with Matt and Adam from the Preserved Collection. At what point do you stop developing for the core systems? They're last gen now. Current gen is Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5. That PlayStation, they are the current gen. So you've got to cut the support at some point. And I think Train Sim World is now at a point where it needs to cut off PS4 and Xbox owners, or Xbox One owners, and move to the more powerful consoles as their root bits. But again, they can still develop for both of them at the same time. You just won't get the bells and whistles with the older versions. And that's one of the great things about Xbox, is that you get smart delivery. So you build the same game and it figures out what you're trying to install it on and gives you the best version. I don't know if PlayStation 5 has something like that with PS4, but I think we're now at a point where they need to go, thanks very much PS4 owners and Xbox One owners, to get the best possible Train Sim World experience. You are going to need to upgrade your console and get an Xbox One X or a Series machine or a PS5. Not that you can get a PS5 because they're all stuck in the Suez Canal at the moment, but well, probably the same with the Xboxes as well, to be fair. But yes, yeah, but again, that is my opinion. That is not that of Dovetail Games. That is me as a gamer. Me as a man with half an idea of what goes on. So, still doing 125, 9.5 miles to Paddington. think we're going to arrive roundabout on time, because we are going to have to start slowing down shortly as we approach Acton. We'll throttle off now. Start winding those NTU engines back. Shame they're not Valentas. And we will now start to coast. Well, the thing is that Train Sim Classic is a PS2 game. That's the way you've got to look at it, is that the engine for Train Sim Classic derives from a PlayStation 2 game. Kuju and EA took it from a PS2 game. I can't remember what the game was, but it is based on a PS2 game. So that's way past its best. Alright, 1.5 miles to 100 miles an hour. I think we're slowly breaking ourselves down there with gradients and throttle out. Brakes into initial, just to make sure we do get down to 100. There we go. So did any of you guys that are currently watching see the videos that were stripped out of the stream from Friday night and put onto YouTube as their own little videos? And if so, what did you think of that? Do you want to see me do that with more of the videos, so that you can go back and take a look at them without having to watch the whole stream on catch up? 2 yellows. Stepped up to a green. I'll just continue to poodle along. I believe we have some congestion of stuff coming out of Old Oak Common on this run, or going into Old Oak Common. God, these brakes are good. Sharp as you like. That's our AWS horn for the 50 mile an hour reduction in speed. Oh yeah, I remember all of that as well, Willow. Massive, massive step forward. But I think once Steam comes to Train Sim World, that'll be when they officially announce that Train Sim Classic is going to be a legacy title, and development will continue from third parties, and they'll make it open source. Right, 50 coming up in 100 yards. Put my teeth back in. Right, so there we go, there's our 50 board. That's our single solitary green on the gantry ahead. Happy days. Gantry counting. I don't know what that is. I remember, I'm not a passenger driver. Or do you mean the line that we're on? Because that's line 2. Yes, that's the plan, Willow, is just to cut out the ones I enjoyed or were particularly good during a stream. Right, so we've got a single yellow ahead as we are now on 3 aspect signalling into Paddington. So that signal, it drops to 25 mile an hour. Single yellow. That's our 25 across the point work. I still don't quite understand what you do with gantry counting, Cliffy, if I'm honest. That doesn't make any sense to me, how that works. Are you referring to you count across the lines of the gantry until you get to yours and then say the signal colour? Is that how it works? Right, we need to be at 15 mile an hour at the edge of the platform, the ramp. Ah, right, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, see, they don't train us for that as freight. C signal with bay signal. Not that we tend to go into this sort of platform. Or some of the guys that I work with do sign. Let's try not to hit the buffer stops, Lee. As we arrive in the magnificent Paddington. Lovely train canopy here. Always loved it. Very leaky roof. Alright, so let's turn our wipers off. Oh, there we go. So that's that and that done. Reverser is in neutral, but we can bring that down to engine off. To be fair, we'd keep that on in the rear one now. Right, so there we go. So we reasonably good route. No medal awarded, but I've never done that one before, so a little bit strange that we didn't get anything, but I think that's because we were on foot to begin with. Right, so thank you for the information on gantry counting. I shall do that the next time. Right, so let's go back to the main menu.